In today's Pokemon Market Update video, we're going to be talking about the Bubble Mew. The Bubble Mew is currently kind of defying all odds, going against the trends, where we are currently seeing pretty much across the board all special illustration rares, with a few small exceptions, but for the most part, special illustration rares are on a big decline, and the Bubble Mew's like, nah, not me. I'm in a bubble and I'm flying up. So this Bubble Mew is continuing to float up to near around $400 currently on TCG Player for a raw near mint copy. We're going to look at PSA 10s as well. We'll look at Paldean Fates as a whole. And then at the end of this video, I'm actually going to talk about some Mew cards that I think I would probably rather have over the Bubble Mew. So make sure you stay tuned till the end just to see if you guys agree or disagree with some of my takes on some of the other Mew cards that are available out there. But currently, this is the predicament that we're in with the Bubble Mew from Paldean Fates. You can see in the past 1 month, it's up 22%. And you can see the most recent sale right here is right about $400. TCG currently has the market price around $366. And there's a few listings currently that are actually just a little bit under 400. But after that, it's 400 and up on the Bubble Mew. So it would be interesting to track once again how high this card goes. Now, we're not at an all-time high. If we zoom out a little bit right here, pull out the 1 year chart, we did hit $421 back at the beginning of the year. Now, this was late January, early February, and the card's been declining since then pretty hard, kind of following, like I said earlier, what the other special illustration rares were doing across the board. This is what we'd seen from the beginning of the year, and it kind of bottomed out at just under 300, and now we're seeing it shoot back up pretty quickly, and the supply is starting to get a little low as far as TCG Player goes. Only 36 copies currently available on TCG Player. So I'll keep you guys updated on this card in future videos as it moves forward. But I also wanted to talk about PSA 10 pricing, because this is one aspect where we are seeing, at least on average, all-time high sales for PSA 10s. Now, you can see back in January, this was around $1,000 in a PSA 10, and then kind of following the raw copy, it kind of fell off to around 760 was the low in May, and then it started climbing, and now we're seeing pretty consistent $1,300 sales in a PSA 10, if you can believe that, for the Bubble Mew. And here's some of the last solds on eBay. You can see pretty consistent, right, in that $1,300 range. There's some a little higher, some a little lower, so pretty consistent $1,300, if you can believe that or not, for this card, the Bubble Mew. Now, as far as PSA pop reports go, this, like a lot of modern cards, has a much higher population, 12,000 in the PSA 10. And you can see, obviously, it's kind of funny when you see PSA's estimate right here, especially when there's movement, it's usually far behind. So currently selling for 1,300, they have it valued at just under 900. But over 12,000 of these cards in existence, which always seems like a lot till you start to think about how many people actually collect these cards, and it's not really that many. So modern pop reports proving to not really be that big of a deal, but it is always something worth noting, just so you guys can know, because it is valuable information at the end of the day. But that's currently what we're seeing as far as pop reports and PSA 10s. Now, something else that's interesting that we're seeing a little bit of movement on, if the English card is too expensive for you, you might want to look towards the Japanese route if you must have the Bubble Mew, because it's just so much more affordable, raw or in a PSA 10. Obviously, print quality much better, goes without saying, but I just bring it up just in case you're new. The print quality on the Japanese side is usually, these cards pop more in Japanese, they look better, they're easier to grade, hence the cheaper PSA 10 pricing. But currently you can pick this card up for around $375 in a 10 and around $200 raw ungraded. So we're seeing all-time highs on the Japanese side when it comes to both PSA 10 and near mint copies. So that's currently what we're looking at. And then let's take a look at some sealed product from Paldean Fates, and then we'll talk about some other Mews that I would personally prefer over the Bubble Mew. But real quickly, before we do that, I just wanted to talk about the giveaway that we are doing on the channel as we're getting closer and closer to 20K subs. There'll be a link at the end of the video on one of the pop-ups, or I'll put a link in the description. If you guys want to enter the giveaway, you got to comment on that video. You must be subscribed to the channel, but we're giving away real quickly just Surging Sparks booster box, a piece, prismatic ETB, 151 Japanese booster box, and a ton of other stuff. It's just a way of me saying thank you, giving back to the community for the support. So if you guys want to enter that giveaway, make sure you subscribe to the channel, as I do post daily, so you guys want to stay up to date on the videos as well. But like I said, yeah, links at the end or in the pinned comment. But let's get back to the sealed product real quickly. So Paldean Fates. Now, Paldean Fates, when it comes to sealed, performing really well, like a lot of Scarlet and Violet sealed performing very well. So it's not like where the Bubble Mew is kind of outperforming the other SIRs, albeit Paldean Fates performing very well in the sealed, but it's not like outperforming anything in like an insane way. But we are seeing some pretty decent gains and hitting some new interesting dollar points, with the PC ETB, for example, crossing that $300 mark just recently. You can see lowest listed's all above $300 when you include shipping on TCG Player. The listed median price is $400. So it looks like this box is going to continue to rise for the PC ETB, which means we might start to see some more movement on that Mimikyu stamped promo. So keep an eye out on that to be moving. Currently, it's not really moving that much right now as of this recording. But something worth noting as far as the PC ETB goes, there's only 26 of these currently listed on TCG Player, and just in the past month, 81 have sold. So it looks like these probably will jump up maybe fairly quickly, depending if those sales trends continue. The supply will just get too low and that price will go up and up and up. So something to keep an eye on is the PC ETB. I mean, if you just scroll down to the bottom right here, we're already at $400 of the first page. And like I said, that's the median price. So we're probably seeing this creep up to around $400 sooner rather than later. And regular ETBs. Regular ETBs are over $200 now as well, if you can believe that. So Paldean Fates performing very well across the board. Lowest listed right now, 205, and listed median at 225. And similar thing, we're seeing supply start to dry up on the regular Elite Trainer boxes. There's only 40 of these currently listed on TCG Player. And in the past month, they've sold 52. So in theory, this would be climbing and climbing, surpassing that $225 mark. We'll see how high they go up as well. But yeah, so sealed across the board looking real good. And booster packs, just loose packs, are over $12 per pack, up 25% in the past 3 months, 3% in the past month. Look at the year gains, 147%. Also, we should go back just to show this real quick. I forgot to pull this up. PC ETB year gains are at 323%. A year ago, you're looking at $69.70. Regular ETBs for the 1 year, 371%. A year ago, $43. Just for a reference point. So that's kind of currently what we're looking at as far as Paldean Fates goes. And, you know, the Bubble Mew is really carrying the way. The Charizard, I do like the Charizard from Paldean Fates and the Gardevoir, but those aren't really moving. Those aren't really having a ton of value. Comparatively, there are still valuable cards, but comparatively to the Bubble Mew, they're just not really carrying the set. And let's just talk about, just for reference point, just to jump back to it for 1 second, you're looking at kind of around $400 currently for this card for an English copy. Okay. So this is where, not that I don't like this card, I do like this card, but this art style, this cutesy thing, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, if this is your chase card, I'm all for it. Like, you guys go chase your Bubble Mew. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad for liking this card, but just for me personally, at $400 current market price, there's a lot of other Mews I'd rather have. And here's an example. This is one, this is a Sun and Moon promo. You can pick this up right now near mint for 238. Now, I know that this one's a little different because it does have Mewtwo, but I think this really, with Mew in here laughing and him being like this pose, I would much rather have this card, or even potentially multiple copies of this card over the Bubble Mew personally. And this one's up big recently. Like this one's been shooting up really big to around 240 bucks more recently. But still, just artwork wise and collector wise, this is something that I would rather have over the Bubble Mew if I was looking to spend that kind of money, especially if you're looking at PSA 10 pricing. I'd rather have this card in a PSA. I think this one's around 1,000 in a PSA 10. So I'd rather spend 1,000 on this card in a 10 versus 1,300 for the Bubble Mew in a 10. So that's just something just to be aware of, that I don't know, I just think this is a cooler card. And then there's even some other cards, like, so this is the Radiant collection. Now this one I could see maybe where people may or may not like this card. It's a little bit different style, but I actually like this card a lot. And same thing, current market price, this one's up big. Okay, it's doing the same thing as the Bubble Mew, but I'd rather have multiple copies. This one's obviously much more expensive in a PSA 10, but still 165, 280. You could get this for cheaper than the Bubble Mew. I like this card more. So just another different Mew art that I would rather have in my collection. And then just some other ones. Now, these ones kind of blow your mind a little bit, or at least they blew my mind just comparative wise. Now, these are alternate arts from Fusion Strike. Now, I get this one's a little busy and totally separate styles, right? Totally separate styles. But as far as like, this comes out of a $700 to $800 booster box. It's an alternate art, very difficult to pull. You'd think that this would be a little bit more expensive, to 134. So I'd rather, once again, pass on the Bubble Mew personally and pick up like a copy of this from Fusion Strike. That's just my opinion and my personal like taste when it comes to the art. So this one, and then also even the V from Fusion Strike as a much more affordable. You can pick this up, I believe, in a PSA 10 for less than the raw of the Bubble Mew. So this is another one where, and I get this one as well. It's a little more busy with all the other Pokemon in the background, but still, art-wise, I just prefer these, pretty much all of these cards over the Bubble Mew. And it's still an alternate art from Fusion Strike, you know, at 50 bucks, $55 currently. So just another thing just to keep in mind as the Bubble Mew. I'm not saying you guys shouldn't buy the Bubble Mew. I just wouldn't touch it at these prices personally. That's just my opinion. And if the artwork called to me more, you know, then I would have already jumped on it personally. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And then lastly, just to touch on another great artwork that is super affordable is the Crown Zenith, the Sleeping Mew. I actually really like this. I prefer this card in Japanese just because it has the silver borders. Now this is one I have in English and Japanese in a PSA 10. Very affordable. It's not a crazy expensive card by any means. Right now it has shot up a little bit on the English side, currently around 20 bucks, up 15% in the past 3 months. But I like that it kind of captures the, I don't know, it definitely captures the cutesy and the innocence side of Mew, which you do get a little bit like with that Mew and Mewtwo GX card that we saw earlier, the tag team card. But and I like how all the other Pokemon are watching over its sleep. So anyways, it just is what it is. It's a nice affordable card. It's obviously plentifully available from Crown Zenith, so it's not like that crazy. But so yeah, that's just, this video was pretty much about the Bubble Mew and how it is currently defying the market when it comes to special illustration rares. Especially you look at obviously your big set like Prismatic Evolutions, pretty much all of those across the board, all SIRs down. I believe currently, as of this recording, I was checking, I think like one of the only SIRs that's actually up, I think the Team Rocket's Moltres from Destined Rivals is moving up a bit, and there's a few others, but they're not moving up crazy like we're seeing with the Bubble Mew. They're just moving up little amounts. So the Bubble Mew, maybe it's leading the way. Currently, as we head out of summer, we're still definitely in summer, but as we head towards the fall time, maybe Bubble Mew leads the way, and we see a resurgence of SIRs and other cards start to move. I know we're seeing a lot of Sword and Shield big alternate arts moving in both raw and PSA 10 prices, but we'll see if the Bubble Mew can just kind of continue to make things move. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. And like I said, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you enter the giveaway so you guys have a chance to enter. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.